Make a little noise.
Or the proverbial. Good morning. Welcome to 1 million cups. Chilly enough for you out there? Yeah, right. Finally, a little bit of cool weather. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I tweeted some nice pictures yesterday to my friends up north. And I wish you were here. Hashtag Snowzilla, you know. Hey, it's our time to shine, right? In the summer. Guys, don't sit so far back. Come on down. It looks a lot better on the screen, and everybody kind of warms up and participates a little bit better in the entire process. So just by quick show of hands, how many of you are here for the first time? Welcome. Thank you very much for coming. So let me give you a quick rundown as to what this is all about. Do you mind getting the sign in? Oh, thank you. So this is a Kauffman Foundation initiative for entrepreneurs. And in a nutshell, we are now in close to 80 cities, one of them international. So we're from Alaska all the way to Puerto Rico. Orlando was the 12th city accepted into the program more than a year and a half ago. And now more than 70 cities, again, in less than 2.5 years. So pretty phenomenal growth. This is held everywhere around the country, all the time on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. It is by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. So everybody here is a volunteer. And what I want to recognize real quickly are the other members of the organizing team. To my left is David. Everybody say hi, David. Hello, David. Sitting there is Angela. Angela, stand up, wave. Yeah, Angela. Hiding behind the sign is Jan. There you go. Hiding behind the camera is Nancy, freezing her butt off right now in Kansas City. Literally in the camera. Everybody say hi. Hi to her. And then coming shortly is going to be Shay. So real quickly, start tweeting, send some social media love. For those of you who haven't been here before, this is not Shark Tank. This is Guppy Tank. And if you do a search on hashtag Guppy Tank, it will actually come up. It's pretty funny. So this is a friendly, uplifting, constructive environment for entrepreneurs. We're not here to tear everybody apart. That's easy to do. We're here to build them up and help them along their way during their journey. So it will be a 6 minutes presentation, 20 minutes Q&A. And do me a favor, if you have a question, just raise your hand, and one of us will bring a microphone to you guys so that way you can ask the question, and those that are actually watching us live can hear it, and the presenters afterwards can go back and listen to the presentation and follow up on some of those items. Are you guys ready? Ready. All right, wonderful. So Data for Dex is first. Are you ready to entertain us?
Yes, I am now.
All right, great.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Great. So yeah, my name is Chris Tauber, and Data for Dex is the agency that I've started. Better business one slide at a time. Now that's a great promise. I could also do better life one slide at a time. A lot happens if you have good slides. So that's the whole point here. I also pronounce it Data for Dex. A lot of you might say Data for Dex. I go with that too. I say Dan. If you say Dane, that's fine too. But we have some minor pronunciation differences. So everybody knows Dan. There's a guy in your organization. You might be a Dan. You can admit that if you are. But Dan is a guy who can crunch numbers. He's great. He's that guy in the finance department. He's that guy that's your CFO of your startup. He knows the numbers, and Dan, that's great. That's a hard skill to have. But poor Dan, he can't design a visual story. Excel is not necessarily a visual environment. It's a lot of, if you haven't seen Excel, it's a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of numbers. And that's fine. There's a story in there, but he can't do it. So Dan makes a slide like this. And Dan, again, Dan's a great guy. I love Dan. I've worked with Dan a long time, but this is what his slides look like. And what he's trying to do is make something big happen. Dan is trying to get funding for a new startup. He's trying to get his business off the ground. He's trying to get the CEO to say, great, here's $20 million to pursue your project. But poor Dan is only doing this. So, and there's good stuff in here. There's good. Dan has the stuff. He just doesn't know how to do it. So there's Dan. He's presenting up here too. And he's all of a sudden starting to lose people. So he's going to say this. Sorry for the eye chart. Again, I've heard this many times in the corporate environment. sorry for the eye chart. And it's so sad. It's like if you're in a movie, you're watching the Avengers, and all of a sudden the big climactic battle comes, and then they say, oh wait, sorry for the boring scene. And sorry for the boring scene, like what are you talking about? Like we're ready to go here. Like don't ever say sorry. But once he says sorry for the eye chart, and this is people tell me this all the time, sorry for the eye chart, sorry for the eye chart. Well, then you're going to say sorry, you're looking on your phones. Because once you've lost somebody, they're ready to go with you. All of a sudden their eyes really are glazing over. Because the eye chart, again, corporate, you're going to hear this a lot. It means that your eyes have glazed over, you can't see anything, it's blurry, and you're done. So all of a sudden, now you're looking at your phone. And again, I've looked around a conference table many times, and half the people are looking on their phones. You're looking on your phone. Well, what the? Okay, good. But the idea is you don't want anybody to look on their phone. And it's easy to see the people who aren't looking on their phone because they're all looking at you as you're looking at them. So once they look at their phone, you've almost lost the game because the next step is, sorry, I lost your business. It's over. Again, Dan had his stuff. He just couldn't present it, the poor guy. So what I want to do is help Dan. So Data for Dex is never having to say you're sorry. We're going to work with you. I don't have all the skills either. Dan doesn't have all the skills. We work together and we can make something special to make a difference. So what's the secret formula of Data for Dex? What we have to do for Data for Dex is quite a few things, but I'm going to break it down for you. If you do need to tweet out the secret formula, that's fine. It's not like Coke. You know, we can we'll let it get out there. But the first thing is Excel. Or any type of data. So bunch of numbers. Bunch of numbers is the first one. We divide it by a visual platform. So in this case, let's say Excel divided by PowerPoint. That's where we start. We multiply it by an MBA. If you can see, that's not the Rollins font for an MBA. Maybe that's another MBA font that I'm drawing on somewhere in northern Gainesville or something like that. But essentially we expand on that. So it's not just, okay, you took numbers, you made it visual, but then you multiply it by MBA's knowledge, which is business strategy, the analysis, statistics, all of that good stuff that you learn in an MBA program to make it even more powerful. And then this is a real secret sauce that's going in here. So again, tweet it, it's fine. But the secret sauce here is the magazine aspect of it. So I also, besides getting an MBA, besides working at SeaWorld and doing analysis for them, I also was a magazine editor for a long time at Bonnier, just up the street here in Winter Park. And what we do there is we present visual stories. So it's certainly we take a lot of information, we make it, you know, very compelling. We make it in a way that people will continue to move on to the next part. We build climaxes, we build arcs, and then we build persuasion. So by adding all of that together, finding an agency that then can put all of that together, that's what Data for Dex is all about. So now, what are the 3 steps for a slide? Because essentially, if we can put that secret formula and apply it to all these poor Dans with the terrible eye charts, what can we do to help them? So let's go back to Dan. What he really had to do, the first thing, was distill the story. He had a great story in there. He just didn't know how to present it. So what we do is we go in with Dan and we say, Dan, okay, let's see. What do you got? What are you trying to communicate? Well, you know, Beach Resorts had a great, he's working at a resort company. Beach Resorts had a fantastic year. Oh, it's here, Dan. Oh, okay, yeah, Beach Resorts did have a great year. 72% year-over-year variance. That is fantastic. That's much better than your mountain resorts and your spa retreats. That could be any lines of business that you have. There's either a winner, there's some story that you want to draw out of that. So we're going to make sure with Dan, yeah, we can find that story for you. Okay, now let's just focus on that. Let's not focus on all the other aspects of it. So once you find the actual story, then you want to design the data. And again, most people can do this. You go into Excel, you can make a line chart. That's great. Excel also has some capabilities within it a lot of people don't use. Formatting, styling, color means a lot to what you communicate. So we'll work with Dan and we'll get the appropriate chart made for him. After that, then, you want to make sure that the headline is compelling too. So he had Beach Resorts. He had it as 1 bullet point out of 6 bullet points. Dan, you know, that's good, but it's a lot of times I'll hear from people, data overload, text overload. Both of those are a real issue in terms of communicating to somebody. So just boil it down what they want to hear. Your chief marketing officer has 10 minutes and he's only going to give you about 9 seconds before you lose him. So let's get right to the point with him. So you've got to design the data. Persuade the audience then is the last step on that. Again, you're not just doing this in a vacuum. You're not just saying, oh yeah, I had a great Excel chart. Here we go, now it looks a lot better. What's the point of presenting? It's because you want somebody to take an action. You want that the marketing officer to say, okay, great, again, here's that $1 million for your initiative. You want the investor to say, okay, great, yeah, I would like to invest in you. Let's keep this conversation going with it. So this is a bit more where the magazine aspect comes in. So we take that, we make a great headline, the key to growth, executive summary. We make sure that we know what the point of this is. And again, the headline is the key. The key to growth, okay, now you got my attention. I didn't need a summary of here's all the charts and here's a lot of the numbers. We want to know, is this going to grow? Fantastic. Then the last little touch there that we work with our designers on is to make sure that it's compelling as well visually. So right away you want to create some emotion too. It's not just an analytical decision that the person, your audience is making, but there's some emotion involved too. So if we can show them, hook them right away with something that is relevant. And I'm not talking the stock photography of, we've seen some before, like this, the painted hands is a terrible stock photo. Or clip art, oh my God, please no clip art. But in this case, this is a photo that means something. So if he's trying to tell the chief marketing officer, invest in beach resorts, well, let's put a little beach in there, Let's find something that has some negative space that we can make the graph pop, that we can make the headline pop. And suddenly, you've got something really compelling there. And, you also are winning the confidence of your audience, and they're ready to go with you. So you do that, and Dan, you've won, you've changed. Now look at this, Dan, there's no eye chart. He's happy, he's ready to go. You can picture him. Okay, Dan, you did it. This is fantastic. This is not just when your business gets better, but then this is when your life gets better. Dan wins the girl. He goes on the beach. It's like, this is great, thank you very much, Data for Decks. So that's what we're trying to do. That's my presentation for today, and yeah, I'd love to take your questions. Yes. Oh, sorry, microphone, sorry. And I'm sorry if I wasn't holding my microphone up, too. I know. Okay.
I have a really loud voice. So is it are you only helping people who are trying to put data up on screen, or are you also looking to help people just deliver their message in a fantastic way?
Yeah, that's a great question. The data is the hook. That's usually the immediate need. Again, there are a lot of other competitors out there, PowerPoint design agencies, or even more automated visual dashboards. So I'm trying to find the hook that'll get people going. And to compete on a level of just any designer, we actually were the only one that combines the data and the design. By getting into the data and design, suddenly then you realize, well then, how do you stretch out the story all around it? So it's not just you have one great slide and then the rest of it is not good. So we do the entire deck if people want to, but if they have an emergency, we can just do one slide. Yeah.
There you go. Are you a product or a service or both?
That's a good question. Yeah, right now we're a service, and the idea is how can we scale beyond what we have? So it's me working with designers that I've worked with for many years, but how can we make it so that it's not just small, just one consultant? How can it become an agency? So that's what we're working on now, combining analysts with designers and teaching them the secret formula that no one's ever going to share. Yeah.
Okay, it's midnight and my eye chart looks bad and I need help. So what do I do? Email this to you, and when can I get it back, and how much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, no, that's, again, great question. And actually, I wanted to just talk further about what that need is. I mean, I thought about pursuing the idea of a PowerPoint 911 service. So again, if you're at a convention and you're presenting tomorrow, and oh my gosh, everybody's had great presentations today, and now you're going to go up and it's not going to be good. There's a chance for it. So right now the pricing is a real issue. And again, what's the hook? So we're looking at a $79 for a one slide, knowing that then it can expand into a full deck if you needed it. And then usually it would be like a one-day turnaround. So if it is an emergency, we haven't gone to a 24/7 model yet, but if somebody did call us at midnight, that's something that we'd love to scale out and be able to accommodate.
I'm just a little confused as far as what the business model is. What are you trying to reach?
So we're trying to reach essentially people who are desperate. People who have a high stakes PowerPoint and they're desperate. How can we help? So the idea, any is going to kill their presentation elevates their presentation instead. But by doing that, that's our entry into more help with that company. So then we can build out a whole PowerPoint deck. We can do a dashboard. We can do more business consulting. So that's the idea of the business. It becomes an agency that's a bit of a hybrid between a consulting agency, a marketing agency, and a PowerPoint design agency. Yeah, it's kind of like that. The Geek Squad for Decks. I like that. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who's a client that would use that? Like, who are specific clients? That
Yeah.
use it?
So it's a range too. I'm trying to fine tune that. So again, I still work for SeaWorld quite a bit. So there's a corporate client who has say a marketing department or a finance department within a large organization who can do it, as well as I have helped startups too who are just, you know, it's just not a skill set in their wheelhouse, and yet they have a high stakes presentation. Either they get funding or they don't, if this is communicated well. So that's what I'm looking to do. Like, how do we best get that? It's often then a marketing director or somebody who appreciates the communication, but from the corporate side down to the startup level. Yeah.
Hey, what's an eye chart and how can I help my business?
Where? Oh, there. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so an eye chart, yeah, thank you for asking that. I mean, I want to make sure that I don't just, you know, it's a term that I've heard a lot, and that as I've reached out to people, you know, I've asked them what their biggest PowerPoint issue is, and often they will say eye chart. The eye chart is just what people will say if they have one slide in a PowerPoint presentation that has a lot of data on it. So right away they'll apologize and say, sorry for the eye chart, because you can't understand it. It's as if you're looking at an eye chart 50 feet away, all of these letters and everything are on it, and you just can't even make sense of it. So that's the definition of an eye chart. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How did you come up with your name?
Data for Decks, a good question. So again, from my experience, corporate, they often call a PowerPoint a deck. I think it comes back from the old idea of like slides used to be in a deck, like when you had a little carousel and everything. So they often are just as a shorthand, they'll say deck. And then again, I was a writer quite a while ago too, so I love alliteration. Data for Decks. I also love when a domain is available. So Data for Decks is available too. So yeah.
Hi, I've done a lot of presentations and I've sat through a lot of I'm up here.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
I've sat through a lot of presentations, most of them bad.
Yeah.
Do you think people know that they aren't good presenters and they create bad decks rather?
I know that's it too. You know, actually, another competitor is inertia. Somebody who just believes like, oh, it's fine. You know, I've done this all the time. I'm just going to put it up, and it pains me to see a bad presentation because I just know how good it can be, and oftentimes you don't know how bad you are till you see how good it can be. So, but that is a struggle that people just say, and that's what I've gotten a lot. People say, yeah, we're fine. I tried to get the University of Florida MBA program to do a pilot, and because I sat through 2 years of bad decks, and that was the same case where it's like, it's fine. It's fine, it's okay. So, and that's okay. You know, that's why I'm looking for the desperate people. The people who have a desperate, high-stakes PowerPoint, they win or lose based on this deck. And those are the people that I'm trying to reach because they can't afford to have a bad deck. Yeah.
Well done. So Dan's going to send you his data, and then you're going to look at it and say, oh my God, Dan, what exactly is important to you? What are you trying to tell? What story? Mm-hmm. How does that interface work? Because Dan's got also X amount of time to tell you what his key components are.
Yeah, no, I've done it where it's just a few questions even, you know, just a 15-minute Skype call. And we can say, great, so what are you trying to accomplish here? You know, you've got your data, who's your audience, what's the objective, what do you want that audience to do? And a lot of times, even if Dan has 15 minutes to talk, we can get to the heart of the matter at that point. We can go with a deeper relationship and get more into nuances of the data and, you know, what he's trying to accomplish long term. But the 12 a.m. call, he's just going to know, okay, yeah, I have a room of 20 investors. I need to tell them that we're going to make a 20% return in the first year. Go. And then we'll take it from there. So, yeah.
Thank you. We wouldn't be here if we didn't believe we had the world's cure for cancer. What's your marketing? How do we, as entrepreneurs, with the cure for cancer, get that word out? What's
Yeah.
your answer?
Good question. So marketing with that, I'm focusing on newsletter and website, and then I've just started Twitter too. And then similar to like coming here, just even I've been going to a lot of networking events. There's a lot of great resources in town. Darren Windroff hooks me up with a lot of good ones. And it's just great, to talk to people because it is a fairly common problem. A lot of people aren't able to communicate. And I found, I'm sure a lot of you have as well, that yes, you can have a fine website, a good newsletter. It's not until you're actually talking with somebody and making a connection that you can feel comfortable that, okay, we can have a partnership and work together on something. So it's a mix, but mainly newsletter, website, and then just being out in the community. Yeah.
So really great job, and might need to hire you for sure. I don't have a lot of data though, but I'm going to hire you for other stuff. But real quick, another thing for your marketing, SlideShare on LinkedIn, show your stuff off big time because it's definitely different. And then may I give you just a bit of feedback on the presentation?
Please do.
I loved it, the whole eye chart thing. Whoever asked about that, I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I came from corporate America and I don't remember that. Maybe I just put big numbers up there. But get right to telling the story because soon as you said that, I was like, I would suggest that start out with telling that story. Have you ever gone into a presentation, worked till midnight, and they walked out and they're like, can you send me that in an email? Tell your story first because that was really a powerful part of your presentation.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I wasn't sure if Dan it was relatable enough.
Just get right to it. Show Dan
and
in love first, then tell the story, and then get to the numbers.
Yeah, okay.
Emotion first, data second.
I like that. No, thank you.
Right.
Emotion first, data second. I like
She's sort of cute, but I would go with a curly-headed girl. But I'm just a little biased. That's all.
No, I like that. I thank you very much. I like that.
Are you considering the over here?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Are you considering the convention industry at all, or are those organizations too large?
No, I thought about that mainly looking because my background at Bonnier in the magazine was travel industry. So I work with a lot of resorts and a lot of convention and visitors bureaus. I know people that visit Orlando. So, is it the case where at a resort hosting a convention would this be a great resource for them to have? Somebody who's there on site over a 3-day conference that can help people at the last minute at that 911 issue. That's something I'm looking at. Again, it's hard to build a continuing relationship though with those folks. That's very transient. They're coming in, they need you on time, and then you might be gone. So, but it's definitely something I'm looking to pursue. Yeah.
You brought it up, but have you considered publishers? Publishers of textbooks, professors, students.
Yeah, I have. In fact, because
and a follow-up. Who is she?
Who is she? This is, I can't get you her number, I don't know, but this is actually I use Shutterstock and Dreamtime a lot for stock images, so it just so happened they had a sequence model that had an amazing story himself. He was business guy, and then he got the girl. So, but publishers, textbooks, that is another case too, where because I'm come from the media industry, and there's certainly a lot of designers already in industry. There's a lot of it's not as difficult to find a good designer if you're in the textbook industry and the publishing industry, and then their stakes aren't nearly as high either. Again, more on the creative side, they're just trying to make a good product that's subjectively good, not measured necessarily as strictly on some numbers. But I have looked at that. My wife is actually here. She works for People magazine, and I've seen some of their reports, and it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could help them because there's a need for that too. But right now I'm just looking more at some of those mid-sized companies with marketing departments that have the need for some of this. They have a lot of data and they need to make sense of it, as well as startups who have data that they want to present quickly, efficiently, and get that deal done. So, but that's I have some experience in that. I'm looking at that. Yeah.
What's your vision for your 5 years from now? Or you consider yourself a lifestyle company? You want to grow this business for yourself? Or are you going to scale nationally or globally?
Yeah, I think that globally would be great, or galactically. But I think that
and then a follow-up to that is, how are you going to discriminate yourself so you can scale?
Yeah, no, I think the main thing is, again, speaking back to the marketing idea, that it's actually being in person. I found is a lot. have a stronger connection than doing this, just kind of over the phone and not ever having some personal connection with the businesses I'm working with. So the plan is to really just look at Florida mainly, and Central Florida I've been making a big focus on. But then, expanding from there. I mean, I have worked with, companies in Minnesota or work with people, out on the West Coast who do need the help. But to get that deep, and that they need help maybe for a deck, and they can get that done. But to grow with a company is something that I need to have more of a personal connection with. So the idea is, 5 years from now, to have an agency that serves a lot of the companies in Florida. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
you mean
done
like
with
Mike,
we're
yeah,
we're
Mike.
done with the Q&A.
Okay.
But he's going
Talk
to hang
after.
out, and by all means, don't leave and swamp him at the end. So, in the tradition of 1 million cups, our question to you is: what can we right now, as a community, do to help you get you to your next stage or stages?
Well, I'd love if you could let me buy you a cup of coffee at Barney's, and we could talk about your needs, because that's really what I need more. Again, knowing the customer, the core of this. I certainly know the people I've worked with already, but I don't know the challenges that the people in this room are facing. So I'd love, again, feel free to reach me through there, talk to me after, but I'd love to set up a Barney's feedback session with you and find out more about what problems you're facing, so I can manage and get better of what I'm offering. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a different paradigm for me.
So, for those of you that came in a little late, just a quick recap. It's a 6 minutes presentation, 20 minutes Q&A. If you're here for the first time, thank you, but it comes with a heavy burden. That means we expect to see you again next week. So, and bring a friend. So we'd love to see you guys again and share the story. Again, this is a community effort. So a little ask of you guys is, on my left, your right, are the sponsors. One of them is sitting right there, quietly live casting us every. Raise your hand, Rudy. Thank you, Rudy. Just for you to know how difficult this is, we are the only East Coast chapter of 1 Million Cups, and the only one in the state of Florida that actually archives and live cast every single one to a large extent possible. All our presenters. So this is not an easy feat, and he comes in, he's an entrepreneur, his company is Joycaster. Send him some love, go check out what he does. It's really a great concept to help out and spread the word on video. So again, thank you, Rudy. Barney's. Without Barney's, how could we have we could not have 1 million cups of coffee. And Barney's comes and helps us out and gives us free coffee and creamer and sugar and all that other good stuff. So again, send them some social media love. And last but not least, our landlord, Rollins College, and they're hosting us every week. So if you guys have parked, and please tell me you did, in the large parking structure across the street, then we can provide you free parking, and there are some passes over there. It's a little yellow card. Grab one. If you forget to grab one, take one of our business card. It's like a magic, card, and you can just say, "Hey, we went to 1 million cups. They were out of stamps," and the attendant usually will not arrest you. So, growing this community and making it what it is for everyone is a group effort, as I mentioned at the beginning. And I want you guys to meet the individual that was the original spark behind 1 million cups. And she's quietly sitting over there in the corner. So Shay, come on up. Give her a round of applause. So there you go. It's a Shay and Ron show. So real quickly, I know we're taking a little bit of your time, so we'll give you more time, but something is happening in Shay's life, which is providing her with an amazing opportunity, and because of that, we are not going to see her as often. But again, Shay went around the community when she moved here from Kansas City and cajoled, begged, encouraged a lot of people to join her team so that we could launch 1 million cups. And again, Kansas City, Kaufman allowed us to be the 12th city. So one of the things I'd like you guys to do as Shay is talking to you is hashtag good luck Shay, and Shay, take it away. Tell them a little bit what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Ron. You are awesome. Do you guys see why I begged and pleaded with him to do this project with me? So it is just such an honor. When Nancy, who's in Kansas City, and I moved our startup to Orlando 2 Januaries ago, we were amazed at the resources in the community and the people in the community, and we had just been spoiled in Kansas City with 1 million cups there. And so we reached out and said, hey, Nate, is there any way you could help us do something like that here in Orlando? And Nate Olson, the founder at Kaufman, he said, you know, that's really weird because you're the 4th person to ask us to bring it to your city. And that wasn't part of the plan at all. So he said, well, yeah, I can help you, but, you know, it's not really, it doesn't work unless the community wants it to work. So go out into the community, and I'm like, I just moved here. Go out into the community and make sure everybody wants this, and then find a team of entrepreneurs that will make it happen. So I took up the challenge, started meeting with many of you here in the audience and asking, is this the right time? Is this the right place? Do we want this? And everyone kept saying, you gotta meet with Ron Benzeev, you gotta meet with Ron Benzeev. So I finally hunted this guy down, and really Ron kind of opened up his Rolodex, unlocked the community, and so Ron, I really thank you for making that spark turn into a flame. So I'm moving on to a really exciting project, which I will get to still be here. I just don't get to organize the event as often. And that project is the new Orlando Women's Business Center that is opening up in cooperation with Florida Institute of Technology. Our new office is in Canvas. And you guys might remember Leslie Helema, the VP of FIT. She came and shared kind of some early vision a couple of months ago, actually during Global Entrepreneurship Week, that FIT was going to help sponsor with the SBA and bring this Women's Business Center to Orlando. Orlando's never had one. This is the first one. We are here to cooperate with the women's business organizations that are in place, help fill some gaps, and just really elevate the profile of all of the women who are kicking ass in our community and are too busy getting stuff done to really promote themselves. So we are going to help promote you, and I'm super excited. We have a ribbon cutting with the mayor at Canvas on March 12th, so please mark your calendars, 2 o'clock, March 12th. I would love you all to be my guests. And afterwards, I gotta give away the mic, I don't want to, but afterwards, give me your business card. I'll make sure you get on our invitation list. We'll have a nice reception. We're gonna be doing some amazing things in Orlando. We still have Global Entrepreneurship Week that we wanna work together for, so please connect with me, share your cards, and let's rock this year.
And wait. I've been dying to do this. Everybody say hi.
Nice.
All right, we've squandered. This is important information, but we've eaten a lot into my one resource. So, Adam, are you ready to take it away? Guys, continue to social media love, and please hang out afterwards, and don't forget to wish Shay a good luck personally. Let's welcome him on the stage.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name is Adam Pickett, and I'm the founder and CEO of My One Resource. But unfortunately, following a presentation about visual slides, I have a feeling I may need to change my name to Dan. So if you can help me find a girlfriend, too, that'd be great at the end. So, like many companies, My One Resource was founded on the idea there's got to be a better way. And for me, that started with all things of flood insurance. I buy flood insurance for my home, even though I don't live in a floodplain. You never know when water's going to back up into your house. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I have no idea who I buy my flood insurance through, who I need to call in case something happens. And if something ever did happen to my home, all that information is going to be destroyed anyway. The other thing that happened to me is I refinanced my home a couple of years ago, and with that came looking for the survey, the appraisal, all the closing documents from when I purchased my home 5 years earlier. It took me a couple of weeks to find everything, and luckily I did, but it really got me thinking about things. The other thing that happened is I looked at my parents' situation when my brother and I were growing up. My mom was the primary caretaker for my brother and I. She handled all the medical visits, prescriptions, vaccinations, you name it. If anything ever happened to Mom, Dad wouldn't have a clue where any of that information is. Conversely, dad's the financial planner. He's the one that handles all the investments, retirement accounts, bills. If anything ever happens to mom or to dad, mom wouldn't know where any of that information is. So it made us realize in today's digital world, with everything at our fingertips, there's got to be a better way to manage and organize that information. And that's what led us to our product. My One Resource is the online platform that allows you to manage, store, organize, and access all your personal information at any time from anywhere. And it's organized for you around 5 core pillars. So personal, health, home, vehicles, and finances. So whether or not you go down to the DMV and you forgot a piece of information, or you're on vacation and one of the kids gets sick, you've got access to all that information at one click. Some people will say to us, well, isn't this just Dropbox or Google Drive or some of those other platforms that are out there? And there's really 2 key differences from our product from theirs. First of all, it's all about organized access. So again, it's based around those 5 core pillars: the personal, health, home, vehicles, and finances. So for example, with your vehicle, you've got information for all your ownership documents. You've got the high-level information that's going to be pulled in from Edmunds.com. You've also got your insurance information, your maintenance information. So it's plug and play for all that information that's not just documents, and that's the other key differentiator. It's information management for your life. It's not just document storage. So when you look at other products that are out there in the marketplace, there really isn't anything out there that encompasses and embodies what we're doing with My One Resource. As we look at our target audience, we're going to be focusing on families 25 to 45 years old with a household income of $50,000 or more. There's 14.1 million families that fall into this category. But as we look inside that family, we're specifically going to be targeting mom. Mom accounts for 84% of discretionary spending. She typically manages 4 of those 5 pillars of information, and she's usually the captain of the household. So we're going to be specifically targeting her with our marketing efforts. We did a 2-week trial in 2014 just to gauge the response. We had 11,000 moms register with us in just 2 weeks. So we know that we have a demand for this product. Now that's our direct-to-consumer focus, and that was our biggest focus starting out. But as we got into the business and as we pivoted, like most businesses do, we saw emerge for us business-to-business channels. So right now we've got 2 insurance agencies, one with 6,000 clients, one with 2,500, that want to start putting their clients inside their system so they can help them start to manage the information from the insurance side of things. We also are partnering with the closing agent, which is the largest title insurance company here in the Southeast. So when you buy a home through them, you're not going to walk away with any closing documents. They're going to put everything into our system, and then you'll get access to a My One Resource account for an extended period of time before we rolled over to the paid model. So those, in addition to some other things, we've got a estate planning law firm. We've got some other opportunities as well. This business-to-business sales channel allows us to focus and put chunks of users into our system at a time, as well as it gives us entrees to working with those companies on a national level. So right now we're in some limited alpha testing. We're going to be rolling over to our beta release sometime in late February, knock on wood. From there, we're going to do about a 6-month beta test, trying to put about 25 to 30,000 users in there over that 6-month period. And then at that point in time, we're going to roll over to our paid model. Our price point is going to be $6.99 a month or $60 per year. And I'm not going to dive into a lot of the financials with our business model, but I will just show you a quick stat regarding the potential for this business. So if we have 500,000 users in the company, we've got $42 million in revenue. 500,000 users is just 3.5% of that target audience I mentioned before. That doesn't include any secondary audiences, and it doesn't include any international expansion as well. So now we're to the ask. Sorry, Ron, if I jumped ahead on the ask. But we've got 3 asks as we come here to the 1 Million Cups community. The first one is investor capital. I know every entrepreneur is looking for investor capital. We're looking to raise $900,000. We've actually are at 70% of that. We've raised $635,000. So we've got just over a quarter of $1,000,000 left to raise. So one, we're looking for any introductions or any connectors that would be good to sit down and talk with to share our story about My One Resource. The second piece is if you'd like to be part of the beta test, you can do one of three things. One, you can, I think we have a piece out there. I forgot to introduce our Director of Marketing, Christina Boncella-March. She's sitting down in front there. Say hi, Christina. We've got our a clipboard outside if you want to sign up. You can give Christina or I a business card, or you can go to myoneresource.com and sign up as well. The third piece is introductions to B2B partners. That's one of our biggest focuses right now. Christina is very much focused on our direct to marketing, but another piece of that is the business to business. So any connectors in the community that you think, boy, this would be a good person for you to go talk to, whether it be for employees for a company, whether it be car dealership, anything that we could get our foot in the door would be helpful in that situation. So just want to thank you. I don't know where Ron left, but I want to thank you guys, Ron and Shay, for doing 1 Million Cups. It's been a great event as we've learned more and more about the entrepreneurial community. So thank you for the opportunity. And look, what questions do we have out there?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
What a great idea. So I have two questions. One is to the marketing director. How'd you get 11,000 people signed up? What'd you do?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going right to the source.
No, we actually worked with a company in California, and they actually target moms, and they have some really, really great content, and they have moms that sign up every day. And so we just were on their when you fill out the form, one of the options was, would you like more information about My One Resource? And we were just overwhelmed with the response. We were not expecting that.
Yeah, really great. Okay, good. I want the name of that company.
Actually, I will add, Christina and I both used to work in marketing for Disney. We were in strategic marketing with Disney.
Yeah.
And Trancos was a company we work with there.
Okay, good.
And they don't usually work with startups, but they were impressed with us and overwhelmed by the response as well.
That would explain why you're so comfortable up front. The second question I have is, this is a lot of data. Okay, it's a lot of personal data. Where does this sit such that I know I'm not going to be hacked?
Yep, so every piece of information is 256-bit encrypted, and it's encrypted at the application level. So when you put it into your phone or on your computer, it's encrypted in flight and it's encrypted in storage. The other piece of it as well is we as My One Resource administrators can't see any of your information. Your password to get into your account is that encryption or that key to unlock the source.
That was my concern. I'm the type of guy who shreds my stuff, burns the ashes, flushes them down separate toilets. I used to work for the Census Bureau. They had me cleaning up empty inter-office envelopes. I said, is this a hazing? They said, no, we really do these empty inter-office envelopes. So I think you should emphasize more of the privacy because there are a few people like me out there.
Who do you see as your competition?
Right now, indirect competition, I mean, you've got Google, you've got Dropbox, you've got those type of, plenty of those type of document storage things out there. I'm familiar with Neat, the Neat scanners. So Neat has a Neat cloud system. Again, theirs is not as robust, and honestly, they're kind of missing the market with the Neat.com or with their Neat cloud system. They're focusing more on the scanner as opposed to the actual system itself. There's one or two really small ones. There's a company called AboutOne.com, but they've been around for about 3 or 4 years and they have not done anything from a marketing perspective. So for us, those are the competitions. And again, we don't really need a huge market share for us to start making a wave, both financially and from a traction standpoint.
Is it an app as well, or just a website that you?
It will be. So it's web-based because again, if something happens to you and you don't have your phone with you, if it's an emergency with the kids and you don't have your phone with it, and you got to pick up somebody else's phone or go to a computer, you don't have to worry about downloading an app, that kind of thing. So it's web-based. We will have an app with it as well because we know most people are going to be using this on the go. So it's mobily responsive, but there'll be an app as well.
Back here, I like the concept and everything, and I know exactly what you're going through about buying a house. What about, how do you guys market, especially like when you were talking about buying a house and the 100 pages that you have to sign, and me that's a homeowner and had it for 5 years, about getting all that information scanned in, How do you guys reach that gap? Because you're right, if you go in now and refinance, it's all electronic, but I've got literally a folder of nothing but information. And not only with that, something as small as now with the wind mitigation and stuff like that, if you don't have those types of notes, the insurance companies don't want to talk to you. So how do you like right now I know it's on a sticky pad and I know exactly where it is, but going forward, how do you get all that put into your system so that you can find it?
So one, if you've already got your home, you've got those closing documents like me, it's going to be on the user to go and put and scan, take pictures, whatever, to put that content in there. We've identified this is way down the road, almost like a concierge service where you could send it off to and then that information gets uploaded. Kind of like the eBay stores that popped up where you took your information in and that kind of thing. The nice thing, I mentioned the closing agent earlier in the presentation. So when you buy a house through them, all that information, all those the 100 pages that you sign, that's all going to be placed inside an account for you electronically. So it's one PDF where all that information is. Our plan with them is, again, it comes down to the company that you're working with starting out. Our plan with them is to go, they have two verticals. So they have a software system that they're using that's, I think it's called RamQuest, which is one of the largest for title insurance companies. So the plan after we get this up and going for a few months with them, they want us to go talk to RamQuest about integrating in for across title insurance companies. The other piece is they work with Old Fidelity, Fidelity, Old Republic, and another national title insurance companies. They want us to go talk to us on that side. So we see that as an opportunity really coming up where we can work with the title insurance companies or even the realtors to get that information done for them. That's the biggest barrier for us, is the easier we can get information in there and get you started, the more likely you are going to stick with us.
Just a plug for Adam. My experience in helping companies from startups to global 100s, he will be successful. For those that are investors, I personally am going to be talking to Adam. I think he will be successful. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, learn from this man. He's doing things the right way.
Thank you. Thanks, Danny. Your check's in the mail, by the way.
He only takes cash.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Adam. When it comes, you mentioned that you have several users, or you talk about your parents, and so how can I have multiple people so that way I can designate my wife or deal with my parents, or if the kids go to camp, how can I open some or all of that to specific individuals? How do permissions work?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking me the question I asked you to ask me before the event. So it's actually, that's one of the unique features of this. So right now, if let's say, since I'm unfortunately not married, a husband and wife, they have a couple of kids. So mom and dad would be the two primary account holders. So they would be able to access, edit, delete, view everything within their account. But let's say they were going away for vacation, or somebody's coming in to watch the kids for a couple of days. In their health section, each person, your information is listed underneath you. Just like how the vehicle's up there, it could say Adam, it could be Courtney, it could be whatever the kids' names are. Mom and dad can give access to the babysitter just for the kids' information, not mom and dad. So we can parcel it out so that you can just see the kids' health information, but you can't see mom and dad. You can't see the financial information. You can't see the home information. You can only give access. So again, for the insurance agencies, that's where it becomes valuable for them, because the user can give access to the home or give access to the vehicles that fall under that insurance agent, and they can update that information in there as well for them. So that permissions is a big thing. The other thing that we'll add on later on down the road is the executor functionality. So if something happens, Dana, who just walked out, I was talking with her a couple months ago, and she said, you know what, I was telling her about the product, and she started crying. And I go, what? She goes, my brother-in-law just died 2 days ago, and my sister is now dealing with the loss of everything. She doesn't know where any of this information is. So there's the stress of losing a loved one, but then there's the stress of, I don't know where anything is. I don't know how to deal. This person did all these different things. So that's the other piece of this that we're hopefully wanting to alleviate with things.
Hi, good morning. This is a great idea, first of all, and coming from an ex-financial advisor, I definitely see the value in this. We used to give people a little plastic file cabinet with everything set up so they can put all their stuff away and put it in a safety deposit box or in a safe, something like that, so that someone can access it if something happened. So that's a great idea, and I see this as like an electronic version of that. I think it's going to go really, really big with the business community. Is there a way to brand it for each company so that they can give it to their customers, they pay a monthly fee or something, and they can put it as part of their service? And then a second question, as I had my father pass away 3 years ago unexpectedly. All of his passwords were, I could not find them, could not get it into his computer. I finally figured something out, but there's still stuff 3 years later, there's still like an investigator trying to find stuff. So do you have a way to incorporate also like passwords, like electronic passwords, to list them all there so that someone could go in there and say, okay, I have access to this site or this site where he kept fidelity or whatever,
Yep. So in the personal section, it's actually listed by username as a passwords is one, legal documents, so a place to store, picture of your birth certificate, passport, those kind of things, and not just store, a picture of the passport, but the location of, hey, here's a note, here's where it's stored in the house, because you can never seem to find it once you go put it somewhere. So yeah, there's a lot of that information within the personal section and throughout the different accounts. The branding thing, I'm actually going to put, she's standing up to leave right now. Sherry's leaving from Insperity. Actually, Insperity is one of the, we've had some initial conversations with a while back from the employee benefit side. And that's something too where we could go out and license it and throw that company's logo up there as well. So yeah, that is an opportunity for us. So, sorry, giving Sherry a plug as she leaves.
Okay, I've got 3 questions, but it's real simple. They're all tied together. They're all tied together.
Okay.
HIPAA compliant, image or OCR, and then the last is subsections for riders on insurance, i.e. jewelry, art, guns, things like that.
Yep. So HIPAA compliant. We are working to become HIPAA compliant right now, or when we get our data set up, I think we will actually be HIPAA compliant. Right now, all of our lawyers that have looked at everything said we don't technically fall under the purview for HIPAA because we are working with the consumer, not working with the actual doctor, actual medical company. Second piece, OCR, that's something that will come down the road and is a big part of what we're going to be doing 6 months, a year from now, is getting that feature integrated into the platform. So it becomes even easier as you scan or take a picture of those documents. Riders. So in the home section, there's valuables and warranties is one of the pages. So not only can you take a picture, can you put, so for the insurance, you have to have, typically a picture of it. I just bought a new computer 6 months ago. No idea where the warranty information is for that computer now. So putting a picture of the warranty in there, or setting the reminder that's going to sync up to the calendar, which will sync up to your phone, telling you 3 years from now or 2 years from now when that warranty is coming due, hey, it's about to expire, and setting you as a reminder. So.
Hi there. Thank you first for answering the questions regarding executors. That was going to be a question of mine. Second, what happens with my data if I stop paying my bill? How long do you maintain the data? How do you handle that?
Right now, we're looking at 1 year to hold on to it. However, we are going to give the user the option to erase it all if they want to. So there is no contract with it. So if you want to cancel it, after a couple of months, we'll hold that in there and for a year. But then if you want to get rid of it, you can get rid of it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We don't, as of right now, we don't have the function to download it all at once. It would be more manually going into all the different places, but yeah, absolutely. And you can email it off from, if you've got a document you want to email off, you can do that as well.
That's me. From the business perspective, does this replace their current electronic record system?
From a business perspective?
From a business partner perspective.
No. So elaborate a little more on your question.
Well, so I went, I'm on your site and it says, like for veterinarians, like all the, so if the veterinarian is the business partner and their records, like this is how they're utilizing their records for their clients,
Gotcha. No, so it depends on how that business to business side evolves. So, let's say we do get in with a veterinary office. I don't really foresee us being their warehouse for that 1,000 clients here. Let's start putting that information inside there and give that over to the client. That's where it could be more on that side. We're not going to be a warehouse on the business side. Now, as a product extension for down the road, we can see a business edition of this similar type product for small and medium-sized businesses to start storing their information for their business. But no, not as being a resource for a business to store their stuff.
I have a question right here. Great product. I think it's great. As you're talking, I'm listening and I'm thinking, what else would I want to have access to that I wouldn't be able to? And I was just another thought. Have you thought about personal information? For example, I was thinking when my grandfather passed away, I knew he had a list of all the people in his village that died in the Holocaust. And who knows where that is now? He passed away. So it took us quite a hunt to find it and hand it over to the Holocaust Museum. But I was thinking about that. Personal pictures, not a million pictures, but the one photo that's a historical family photo. So just another thought.
We have a family treasure section in the personal section for that kind of stuff. So my grandpa fought in World War II, and he wrote these beautiful letters to my grandma, but he couldn't say where he was located. So he would sign his name, Wayne S. Pickett, Wayne A. Pickett, Wayne I. Pickett, and he spelled out the island of Saipan. And my grandma was able to go and look on a map. So right now, we don't know where those letters are. So our vision with the family treasure section, we scan those letters in. We've got them. If a relative in California, if a relative in Texas says, hey, can you send those letters to grandpa's? We can email them off quickly. So yeah, we've got family treasures in there.
Well done on this. Is there a way that if you input, for example, if a woman were to marry, and so she says, changing my last name, is there a way that it can search all of the different file cabinets and say, do you want to change your passport? Do you want to change your bank account? Do you want? And does it come up with that list of things just by one that one input triggered?
No. Not yet.
I will it.
It will down the road. The other thing we've looked at is a couple of things. So one, let's say for kids as they go to college and they graduate, they're now starting on their own, is spinning off their kids' stuff so that it automatically spits off, and then now they've got their own account. For someone who gets married, we haven't figured out how we merge those two accounts together yet, but it's something we'll figure out down the road. So.
Or any triggering input, new car.
So right now, if you put in, let's say you get a new car. Let's say you get, here's a great example for me. When I started pulling all my vehicle information to put inside here as a test account, I realized I had 3 or 4 warranties with my car I didn't even know I had. So you'll be able to set reminders for things inside of here, so you know when a warranty, you know when something specific is coming due. So you can attach something, if it is something like a passport that's going to expire 6 years from now, you can set that reminder so that 5 years and 9 months from now, it'll remind you so that you can take action before it expires.
Referencing your ask number 3, business to business partners, are you also looking for introductions to other collaborators, like the head of the APO, Association of Personal Photo Organizers, that does a lot of family search genealogy, professional organizers, daily money managers, all these people who kind of are in this space already? Are you looking for that, Ms. Marketing? Okay. Then I
Yes.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if it was just for sales.
No. We'll go talk to anybody anytime, because we never know. We love that. We never know where that connection is going to go next. So, yeah.
Hey, really, really great product and design. How did you think of the idea? Why did you come up with this product?
Literally laying in bed, I started thinking about flood insurance. And of all things, why flood insurance came in my head. But because my parents always said, you have to buy flood insurance even though you aren't in a floodplain. So I bought flood insurance. It comes in the mail every year. I paid the credit card bill, whatever. I I don't even know who the company is that I buy it from. And I don't know where the information is. I don't know who I call. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. So that's how it started for me. And then it just started, well, it can be this, and it can be that, it can be this. And it, you know, it got really big, and then we pared it back down a little bit and stuff. So it was just that idea on the side that, gosh, there really does have to be a better way to organize this information.
Well, thank you very, very much. Wait, don't leave yet. Stay there for a second. So you already have your ask, so everybody here knows. Obviously, he's also on social media, so continue to send him the love. But why don't you share with the audience what you have qualified to compete in, and what can that do for you, and how maybe we within the audience can also help you with that. So.
Yeah, so we applied for, back in the fall, the Bright House Network's Small Business Regional or Business Regional Awards. We applied in the startup category. They had over 200 applicants. We were one of 9 semifinalists that selected that came in, did a 6-minute presentation, 10-minute Q&A. We were then selected a few weeks ago as one of the 5 finalists. We'll be going on March 5th. I believe it's going to be in Kansas, yeah. Or it's going to be somewhere downtown, yeah. So we're one of 5 finalists. They've got a Pitch 6 event, so it's going to be hosted by Kevin Harrington, who was on the first season of Shark Tank, as well as 3 other judges. So we've got that on March the 5th, which will be taped and then aired on the Bright House Networks later on. And then the gala is on March 19th. So yeah, so that's exciting for us.
That is great news. And you know, of course, that we as organizers of 1 Million Cups will take every credit for your success.
Our first slide is...
There you go.
Yeah, so...
Well, Adam, thank you very much again for your hard work. So it's exciting to see entrepreneurship at work, and I can tell you that I have and interfaced with Adam for the last almost 10 months, 11 months, and not only is so I'll tell you several things. A, if you need help and you want to bounce some ideas, some questions, he is always willing, ready, and able to help. So he gives a lot to the community, so don't hesitate. He's very smart and has very, very well laid out plan. As you can see from here, I've been bugging him to present from the moment he talked to me about this. I'm like, I'm not ready. And finally he said, I'm ready. It's like, too late. So thank you again for coming. Thank you very much to you guys for telling the story. And I'm glad that Adam recognized himself in the picture. So thank you very much, guys. I will not be here for the next 2 weeks, but you're in great hands. So come on by, bring your friends, tell other companies that they have a story, that it is interesting, and that we as a community, we as Central Florida and Orlando are here to support you, the entrepreneur, you, the startup, and we encourage you to come back again and again and bring your friends. Thank you. See you next week, or at least they will.